Good evening, everyone. We're glad you could join us for today's session on the rise of DataOps. Let me begin by introducing our speaker for today, Sanket Maheshwari. With over 12 years of experience in AI and machine learning, Sanket specializes in designing and delivering end to end solutions. His practice considers aligning with best industry practices, leveraging generative AI, convolutional neural networks, and traditional machine learning techniques. He now manages the machine learning department at Publicis Sapient. With a strong focus on MLOps, Sanket implements scalable model deployment, continuous integration and delivery CI/CD pipelines, automated monitoring, and model lifecycle management to ensure reliable and efficient AI systems. Please join me in welcoming Sanket Maheshwari. Before we start today's session, I request that our learners post their questions in the Q&A tab. We will try to address as many as possible if the time permits. At the end of the session, we will display three polls on your screens and request that you actively participate in these polls to help us understand your grasp of what was covered in this webinar. Correct answers will then be displayed once the polls have been answered. With that in mind, here's a very warm welcome to you, Sanket. We're glad we could have you present at the Industry Interaction webinar. Over to you for the main session.
Yeah, okay, thanks a lot. Let me share my screen before we proceed. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, Sanket, the screen is good.
Okay, so I will quickly start. Basically, you have given my introduction, but let me start. So, besides Sanket, and I am working as a solution architect here in the Publicis Sapient. So, basically, the agenda of this session is the rise of the DataOps or the MLOps. Currently, we are seeing that everywhere people are talking about the MLOps and the DataOps. As generative AI is in the picture from the last 2 to 3 years, there is a slight race that everybody want to put the things on the production. But the main crux is that there are very few people who are aware of that how to put the things on the production. When I say things, actually, it's not about only the ML model. It end-to-end ML pipeline, how you are putting that thing into the production. So let's start our discussion with that. What is MLOps and DataOps? So few things I want to clear before like I will start the session. You can get the understanding of what is MLOps or the DataOps from the Google or from the ChatGPT. Easily you can write this thing and you will get the understanding. But the main agenda of this session is to equip you all to bridge the gap so that you will be aware of how to become the industry ready. So what all the things you have to learn, how you should make sure that these are the few things which if you can learn you can also switch into this MLOps industry. Okay. So now I will start with a very basic intro about what is actual MLOps. So as this beautiful diagram explain that MLOps itself is nothing. It is just the amalgamation of the three fields that is called data streaming, machine learning, and the third is the DevOps. So just consider in the data engineering, what people are doing, they are ingesting the data. And once they have the data, they are transforming it and they are curating it and they are converting it into the different proper format so that they can store it into the SQL, that is into the tabular format, or directly it into the JSON format or on the Pythonic way, if I'll say, into the dictionary format. So once the data engineering is done, then comes the second thing is the machine learning. In the machine learning, the data scientist basically will pull this data, which might be into some DB, and from there they will start the pre-processing pipeline. In the pre-processing, we know that they will start with uh, exploring the data set, imputing the missing values, reducing the outliers or figuring out what are the outliers and treating them and scaling and doing the multiple things on the model on the data. And once the data is prepared, we will create the different ML models based on the requirement. Like we can go with the classification, we can go with the regression, or we can also start with deep learning models. Like if you're thinking the CNN, multiple things we can create, but for this, data is needed. So as we know that as a data scientist, 80% of the time we focus only on curating and cleaning the data. So there comes the importance of the data engineering part and the machine learning part. And the third part is the DevOps. So as of now, we have properly created the data. Now we have the machine learning model also, but what to do with that? To take the proper advantage of this build machine learning model, you have to deploy it onto the production. So for that, we have to use the DevOps best practices. So if I look into this one, so if I consider the best practices of the data engineering, machine learning, and the DevOps. So when all the best practices comes into the picture, so it is giving us the MLOps as a field, machine learning operations. This I have taken from the Google research paper. Let me walk you through that research paper. Basically, I'll say if you want to start your journey into the MLOps, you should go through this paper, Hidden Technical Debt in Machine Learning. This was written by the Google people, and this is talking in reality what it take to actually build the real world ML system. Like in the starting, we used to think when we were learning about the data science that if we have created the ML model in our Jupyter notebook, that's it. We can call it ourselves as the data scientist or the AI engineer because we know that we can build the model. But what to do with that model? It is into your Jupyter notebook only. You cannot take the advantage of it and push it into the production. So, what to do with it? So, this paper is really talking about the real depth of the machine learning system. So, here you can see this is a very small part of it, what I am calling it as the ML model or the ML code, which we have created in the Jupyter notebook. On the top of that, there are multiple things which we have to consider. First, to start with the configuration. Configuration means you have to consider a separate configuration component which will consider that. There are the various keywords, passwords, and address of your database or where the things you want to push, like your pipeline details and other stuff. You have to put it properly into the configuration file. Then comes the data collection part of it. There should be the proper component which will always run into the similar way so that it can create the proper structure format which your ML code will consume. So the data collection pipeline, then comes the feature extraction, where you will be doing the feature engineering and creating the different features. Then comes the data verification part, where whatever the data you got, whether actual that is the correct data or not. So these are the various components which you have to learn and you should be aware of if you really want to make your ML code to see the live production. So let's quickly jump on to our, this one. So these are the two diagrams which I have taken to explain you what is the MLOps. And I motivate you that after the presentation, please go through this research paper. It will help you in understanding, or it will give you a real scenario of what it takes to take the machine learning model to the production. Now, there comes the second part. What is the need for MLOps? Is it really needed or it is just the hype that everybody is talking about MLOps, 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 what it is, what is the need for it? So I was going through a research paper, like it was published by the Big Four, and they have clearly stated that majority of the company fails to fully capitalize their model which they have built because either that is still into their Jupyter notebook or the things which they have deployed is not properly scalable. Suppose they have the 100 use cases, but out of that 100 use cases, since they are manually deploying the model onto the production, so within a certain time, they are able to properly cater only 10% of it or 20% of it max to max. So what about the rest? They are not taking the advantage of this one. So That is the issue with the deployment. So if you want to solve this, you need to take the advantage of machine learning operations. So just think, if you have created an end-to-end MLOps pipeline, so here you do not have any dependency on any team. So that will be, first of all, reduced. Second comes, there will be no dependency on the DevOps team because you have taken the help of the DevOps team and you have created the standardized process to deliver the model to the production. So again, you do not need their help. You can just run this pipeline and deploy the things. So MLOps team itself can do this model deployment. So issue with the deployment will be resolved. Now, second comes the issue with the monitoring. I will explain you this with a real-time example. Suppose if you are working for a e-commerce giant, and for it, you have to create a recommendation engine for it. So as suppose you have properly created the recommendation engine and deployed it onto their website. And as of now, it is working well and it is running. But just think, as a user, our priority changes, our behavior changes as we see that new and as we see the trends on the Instagram or some other way or some other parts of the like online, whatever I am purchasing now, it may not be the case the same product I will or the same type of product I will purchase after 1 month because the new products are coming very frequently. So my choices will change. So at that time, just think the model which you have trained based on the past 1 year or 2 year data. So is it capable enough to give me the correct recommendation as per the current scenario? I will say no. So in this regards, what is the impact of this? It won't give you the right recommendation. So because of that, your revenue will definitely impact or will get a lower hit and your profit will decrease. So here, just consider if you have the proper machine learning monitoring into your MLOps pipeline. So here, whenever you are seeing there is a data drift, when I say data drift, that means the data on which you have trained the model and currently the inference data or the real-time data, the distribution of both are not same. So once your model monitoring service will come to know that there is a slight data drift, so at that time automatically it will trigger your model retraining. So before your model becomes stale, it will get refreshed. So now it will push the correct recommendation what persons will like. And definitely it will help in increasing the revenue. So just think a small change in the pipeline can impact your revenue a lot. So this is the power of the MLOps. So if you're able to do this automatic model monitoring the production, definitely it will help you a lot. And third is a very obvious thing. If you are doing all things manually, then it is a very resource extensive task. You have to hire multiple people into the team. Apart from that, you have to deploy a heavy infrastructure because everything is manual. So in this way, it is very resource extensive. So that are the few points which I believe MLOps can solve. Now let's jump. As of now, we know what is MLOps. What is the need for MLOps? But coming into the more intuitive question, that on the paper, it is looking good. But is there a real demand in the job market? Or we are just talking on the paper only on the theoretical side of it? MLOps can do this, blah, blah, blah. But are the companies actually interested into this? So I have created a small analysis for you guys. If somebody is have entry level of experience, they are just trying to enter it, they can get the average pay of 6 to 10 lakh. If you have the experience between 2 to 5, then you may get the package between 12 to 18 LPA. And if you have the 5 plus, then 20 plus. Even I have seen that people who have the experience of 10 plus, they are getting 50 plus LPA. So this is the power of the MLOps learning. This is the small screenshot which I have attached, which is actually talking of what kind of openings are there in various companies and what are the packages they are offering. But there comes another catch. Now we know what is the actual demand there and what are the kind of openings, but what are the roles and responsibilities which is available there, and so that what should I what should I go and search in the website or in the Naukri or the different portal. So I have considered that also. So these are the few openings which companies usually prefer. First of one is the as usual MLOps engineer, where it is talking about like managing and dealing with model development, deployment, tracking and monitoring part of it. Second comes the DevOps engineer, but this is not from the development side of it. It is the person should have ML specialization. So a blend and merge of DevOps practices with ML workflow, you can consider. Third comes the data engineer, then comes the cloud infrastructure engineer, then comes the AI ML and the research scientist, which can do the brainstorming, do the research, collaborate on model optimization and the deployment readiness of it, then the automation expert. So these are the few roles and responsibilities. Basically, most of the time people are doing the same job, deploying an end-to-end into the best standard way, but company publish on their website in the help of under different names. So these are the few things which I thought that you should know if you want to apply for the jobs. Then another very important question comes. Okay, now I know what is MLOps. I am also aware of what are the openings of MLOps, but how to enter into this job market? What are the key skill and certification which I can learn, which can help me in preparing myself or getting ready myself for this MLOps journey? So I can help you here also. These are the few skills in the certifications, so I will walk you through all these things. So first of all comes the core technology. So this is the when why I'm calling it as the core technology, because this is utmost important. If you want to enter into the MLOps side of it, you have to learn it. There is no alternate option of it. You have to learn Python, TensorFlow, PyTorch, anyone you can learn. Docker for containerization, Kubernetes for deployment side of it. GitHub you should be aware of. CI/CD pipeline tools such as Jenkins, etc. These are the few technology stack which you should be aware of. Then comes the cloud platform knowledge. As per my personal experience, I know that majority of the companies have shifted their infrastructure to the cloud, the different clouds available like the Google, AWS, or Azure. There are very few companies which have the security issues. They are having their infrastructure on the premises. So if you want to look into the majority section, you have to learn the cloud. Any of the one cloud you can learn, and because most of the cloud work in the similar way, the services only the names are different, approximately working is the same. So you can learn any of the cloud. Then comes the model deployment part of it, the deployment and the scaling model on different environments. Then comes the monitoring and version control. This is also very important. You can learn tools like Prometheus, Git, Grafana, because it can help you in creating the proper dashboard of your model monitoring. You do not have to go into the logs, write the Python code, and take the analysis from there. You can, with the help of a single click, you can get the analysis of your data from here. And then comes the certification. This certification will definitely give you an edge when you will be applying for the job role. So, like you can become proficient in any of the cloud. So you can start with the Google Cloud Professional ML Engineer certification or Azure AI Engineer Associate or the AWS Certified Machine Learning. Because if you will see how people will come to know, how the companies will come to know that you actually are aware of the cloud platform technology and the machine learning. So if you have something to show, then it will give you an edge over the other people who are also applying for the job, but they do not have this kind of certification. Because as we are aware of that, most of the elimination happens in phase one when you are applying for the job. So if you want to crack that one, if you want to pass particular that round, like elimination round, then please go through all these things. Then let's jump into the model development cycle. We little bit we can do our hand dirty. So this is the level zero. of the model development cycle, we can say. This is the complete manual process. Here you can say that we can start with the offline data. Currently, you can have offline data either into the CSV format, or it can be into an like database, into any DB like the SQL, NoSQL, anywhere. From there, you will pull the data, and while pulling the data, here will be your data extraction and the analysis you will be doing, or you are doing. I can say you are doing these things when, as of now, you are building the models. And once you are done with this, now you start not you have at this step you have the data. You have extracted it and done the like the analysis, and then you are preparing the data for the model training. So while preparing the data, as we know that there are data pre-processing steps which we have to do, understanding the data type, doing the model. Uh, Here, just you can start with the model imputation, sorry, missing value imputations. Then, of course, you can also try with the data outliers and other stuff. And once your data is ready for the model training, you can start building the model as per your requirement, whether it's the classification or the regression. You can choose go for SVM, decision tree, random, or boosting or bagging methods, whatever. It's based on your requirements. So you can do the model training, and when the model training is done, then you can create the model evaluation, the validation part, that whether actual the model you have built is working properly or it is working fine or not. And based on that, you can finally go with the yes, this is my trained model. It is working very good on the offline data. And then you will push it to the model registry. Model registry, you can consider it as the place where you are just storing your model. You will consider, as of now just consider it as a folder where you will place your trained model, and while doing the model serving or doing the model prediction, automatically it will go to that folder, take the model, and start the prediction service. So this is just the manual process. There's no automation involved. Whatever you have to do, you have to start from the scratch. You have to do all the things manually. So this is the definitely very labor intensive job, which definitely you used to do some years back. But as of now, because the requirements or the model building part is so fast that people now want model for each and everything. For example, if I'll consider the food delivery app, then they want the recommendation at every page. For example, at the first page, if I am landing into their home page, it should give me the recommendation that these are the 10 food items which you can learn. If I am entering, or if I am selecting that particular food, suppose the biryani, if I have selected the biryani, then on the bottom of the page, it will give you another recommendation. So another model will come into the picture. It will tell you these are the similar products at what you have liked. So that, and one thing you can see that they will show the similar item. Out of that, 70 to 80% of the item will have the cost greater than what you have selected, because here they are trying to do the upselling. And suppose if you have selected that one also, if you are going to the checkout page, so there another model will come into the picture. They will that model will tell you that the best coupons available for you, so that you can select. Or the another one last model will come when we will do the final payment, that you can go for the UPI or you can go for the credit card or debit card. So you can see that we have like to build a single app, we have we have the need of 5 to 6 models, which I have just given you the very basics. If I'll go in deep, there are more models which we need. So if you are going manually, if I am going to this level 0, it is not feasible. We cannot have multiple people running over that one. It is very expensive for the company also. So that is the reason we are switching from level 0 to complete automation part of it. So this is the level 1, ML pipeline automation with continuous training. So here you can see the experimentation we are doing manually only. Like the same thing, data analysis, you got the data, then data validation, preparation, training, model evaluation, model validation. We have done this. But after this one, I'm not pushing the model into the model registry. Here, I have finalized, okay, this is the model which is working best. So what I will do, I will take the code of this model, the source code of this model, and push it to my source repository. Source repository, as of now, you can consider, suppose, as the GitHub. In the GitHub, I push the code. And when I am pushing the code, a continuous integration, like a CI pipeline, will start. So CI pipeline, what it will do? It will take my code, and it will take my code, and it will containerize it. Containerize it, just you can think it will pack it, or it will wrap it in something, and so that you can run it anywhere. As of now, the source code, I can run it on my machine only. But suppose I have done the proper packaging of it with all the requirement dependencies, and I am giving it to you. The same thing you can also run, or anyone can run. Same thing, just you can consider on the top that packaging is happen, the code is deployed, code is considered into the proper pipeline, and now this automated pipeline will run here. From here, you will extract the data validation, all the things will happen. And that best model, which you have already selected, this model will be delivered. So now this model will automatically push to the model registry. And once this model has been pushed to model registry, the train model will be taken from here and it will do the model serving. Okay, just help me, just let me explain you what is this model serving, because you may get confused of this kind of terminology. When we say model serving, if you want to deploy the model into the production, you cannot take just the pickle file and deploy it. No, that won't work, because suppose as of now I'm getting mm, okay, I have some e-commerce company. E-commerce company, I'm working for an e-commerce company and I've created the recommendation for that e-commerce company. And currently, my model will be able to cater 100 requests per minute. What do you mean by 100 requests per minute? That 100 users will get the recommendation in a minute out of this model. But just think, if the company has launched Big Billion Day. So in that, instead of 100, my like I'm now getting 1000 users are hitting my recommendation engine. So definitely my model will fail. So that is the reason directly I cannot use the pickle file. I will have to take this pickle file and I have to deploy it somewhere on the infrastructure. Infrastructure, you can consider any computer engine or any machine or any, like on the rough language, you can consider any computer. I have to deploy it somewhere. So as of now, if I'm getting 100 requests per minute, my single computer will able to cater that 100 requests. And now suddenly, if I'm getting the 1000 requests per minute, or 1000 users are hitting my model for the recommendation, so suddenly, not this one, it can scale up to 10 computers. So now 10 computers will run in parallel, and my model will run it automatically into the 10 computers. So it will be able to serve all the users. So that is the reason we will go into the model serving part of it. That is, you will take your model and deploy it onto some infrastructure, and that we call it as the uh, model endpoint. You can consider model endpoint as a simple route like www.something.com or anything. Just a simple route you have created. So people won't be hitting directly your model. They will be hitting the endpoint or the REST API. And your REST API, your model will be running into your REST API. So it will automatically give the prediction. So now, so I hope now you are a little bit aware of what is this model serving, what is this model endpoint, and what is the scalability part of it. Because these are the few questions which interviewer will ask you. Suppose if you want to scale the model, as of now you are getting the X number of requests per minute, and suddenly you are getting the 2x number of requests per minute. Then how you will cater this? So you can say that we will scale our deployment side of it, or endpoint, or wherever you are deploying. Suppose you are deploying into the Kubernetes. So there you will scale it, horizontal scaling, vertical scaling, the different part of it. So you can do the scaling part of it. Okay. So once the deployment is done, now our prediction service will come into the picture. That will prediction you will get the you will get the prediction that people will hit this your endpoint and they will get the request. So, as of now, our data is coming from the feature store. Feature store you can consider as the DB only, just consider, but there might be the case real time hit may also get. People will hit it real time. So that you can also consider. And here is the performance monitoring. Whatever the request you are getting, people we have the automatic performance monitoring or the model monitoring out of it. So we are continuously monitoring it, whether we are getting the good prediction or the bad prediction, or what is the suppose what is the accuracy of a model or the performance metrics of a model. If it is working good, it's fine. If not, let's just go and trigger the automated pipeline. So again, it will give you the new uh, new model on some new data. So this is the part of level one. This is the final CI/CD pipeline automation of the level two part of it. So you will definitely will be working on this, but not in the start of your career. Once you have some experience, suppose 2 to 3 years, then you will automatically understand how this automated pipeline will work. There are the multiple parts of it. So I won't explain you this diagram with the help of this. I can help you with this simple diagram so that you will grasp it what is going on in this diagram. So here you can see that, as I told you, development experimentation will always be the manual process because we have to figure out what is the best experiment or the best, or we have to do the development from our side. But once you have finalized it, you have sure that okay, this is model is working, if these other data is working, if these other things are working, then automatically you will push that thing into the source code. You will lock your source code and push it into your source code repository like GitHub or anywhere. And from there, from the GitHub repository, your continuous integration will start at the pipeline continuous integration, and it will Dockerize or package your code, what we have already learned. And once the code has been Dockerized, it will automatically deliver it or create the automated pipeline. Once your pipeline is created, that is the continuous integration pipeline, then the training will happen. And you will get the train model, and then the model delivery will be there. Just think, you will get the model, and here in the continuous model delivery, you are serving it and then hitting the prediction service. And then there's the monitoring. You apply the monitoring part of it. So monitoring is just reading it. What is the model performance? If it is getting degraded, it is again switching to continuous training. So in this way, this is the whole automated pipeline. So this is the actual work of the MLOps engineer. So as of now, you can think it is very tough, but definitely believe me, like it is not. When I was also starting my career into the MLOps part, I started my career as a data scientist only, but I was also switching to this CI/CD, understanding the CI/CD pipeline. So this is the diagram which is available onto the Google's website, GCP website. You can see it there. So I was going through there, and at that time, definitely I was I haven't got this. What it is it? But when slowly and slowly I tried to understand, then I got it. This is the actual thing. What we as the MLOps engineer, as the solution architect, you are doing. So now comes, if you want to build this pipeline, you cannot build this with the help of ML or the Python code. No, that is not feasible. We cannot write the code for each and everything. But we will be taking help of or support from the different tools. So these are the few tools. And another interview tip, if you will able to explain these things, I'm not saying that you have to learn each and everything. At least just go through the basics. Just try to figure out, Google it, understand it, what are these pipeline features, and go and read some of these popular tools and platform and write it in your resume. It will give you a heavy weightage. I can tell you with the help of my understanding, because in the last 1 to 1.5 year, I have taken over 1,000 interviews, and there I found that people who are writing this kind of interview, this kind of word, and actually not words, I mean, they know this thing, then only they will be writing. Their, first of all, their resume is getting selected by the HR, and they are also getting uh, advantage in the interview because we all are discussing on these topics. Okay, so I will move here. So here we are, I can consider as the pipeline feature as the versioning. So in the versioning, you can think of that we are doing the versioning of the data, code, model, pipeline. Basically, versioning means as of now also when you are creating your model or when you're building the model, this is not just in a single shot only, you will get the best model. You have to run your model one time, two time, three time by doing the little bit changes into your data pre-processing part of it, or you have to use the multiple models. So there, the same thing we are doing. Model 1, Model 2, or Data V1, Data V2. So with the help of this Kubeflow, you do not have to do anything manually. All the things automatically will be done in this pipeline. And second comes the pipeline feature is the orchestration. Orchestration means you should be able to run end-to-end ML workflow with the help of this Kubeflow, Airflow, or the ZenML. I have worked on this Kubeflow and Airflow. I have not worked on the ZenML. So this will definitely make our life very easy. Like in the Kubeflow, there are the few components are there. You can read, you can write the components. Suppose if I'll tell you in the modular way, like the first component can be of the data pre-processing, second can be of the model building, and third can be the model monitoring. So automatically it will run an end-to-end. This is the orchestration. Then comes the experiment tracking. Experiment tracking means as of now also we are doing the experiments, like you are logging the metrics, you are measuring the accuracy. Suppose you have used the SVM, what kind of accuracy or the model metrics you got out of that. Now you have switched to random forest, what kind of model metrics you have done. But currently you are doing all things manually. Just think if you mention all your requirements into this tool, and then you just have to click it, it will automatically run. You can go sip your coffee and come back, then you will see, okay, it has given you a very beautiful visualization, a proper graphs and proper metrics it will give you. And with the help of that, within a few minutes, you will be able to select the best model or the best artifacts. Okay, this is the model which I will choose after doing hundreds of experiments. This is done. So that is the advantage of experiment tracking, model tuning. We are aware of that while we are building the model, hyperparameter optimization is a very crucial part of it. So we have to focus on that also. So that also, instead of going for the random search or the grid search, you can take the advantage of this tool, Amazon SageMaker auto tuning or the H2O auto MLs. Automatically, it will tune your model. Then comes the model serving part of it. Model serving means, as I have explained you, now you want to deploy it. So now you want to deploy it. So these tools provide you the even the endpoint within a single line or two line you can write. They will create the endpoint for you. You do not have to write 100 lines of Python code. No, things don't work in that way. You have to use these tools. You have to write the proper requirements and proper endpoint and that two or three lines of code. And that's it. Your endpoint will be created. So you can take the help of AWS SageMaker, Azure ML, Google AI platform. Now it is called the Vertex AI, but other things. Then comes the very important part, model monitoring. You can take the help of Amazon SageMaker model monitoring or Prometheus, Grafana. So here you will be able to detect data drift or the performance monitoring. So go through these tools, just read through about these tools. What are the tools? What are the pipeline features? In the interview, if you were able to talk on these things, definitely it will help you getting your candidates a shine as compared to other peoples who are giving the interview and fighting for this MLOps role. Okay, now comes a very important part of it, project grade or project structure. Now, as per now, I believe now we have learned various tools. We are aware of the model pipeline. We are aware of MLOps in most of things. Now, at this stage, we are trying to give the interview. We have started applying for the jobs. And now like while you will apply for the jobs, and you might be aware of, they will give you the case study. So when they will give you the case study, you have to solve it and submit the solution. So what I have found, that 90% of the people are just submitting the Jupyter notebook. But I'll say that is the common way, or the most people are doing the same way. That is not the optimized way to uh, give the case study solution. If you want to take an edge over it, if you want to take an edge over it, I have written a very basic directory structure. Let me zoom it so that you all can see. Here you can see that, and there are the GitHub repositories available, or the open source tools also available, which can easily create the directory structure for you. But you have to write it properly after getting the structure. Now, suppose it has the structure, you have the license. You can write whether you are using the GNU license, open source license, or it is not open source. Nobody can use your this repo. And second comes the make file. Let as of now leave this make file. I do not, because of the limited time, I do not want to enter into this one. Yeah, readme.md. It is very crucial. You have to write here what is this code about, or repository about. What if you are giving this code to me? You have to write all the steps into this readme file properly. Okay, they are the things which you have to write in this as well. You have to run the code in this way. Okay, now comes another folder, data. Whatever the data you are using properly, you can push it into this data folder, like the some CSV file or some Parquet file, whatever it is you contain this. Then if you have some documents, you can the default document you can create here. Then if you have created some models, then you can create one model folder, and you can create some model folder. Inside the model folder, you can put model V1, model V2, model V3. And then notebook, you can create folder, you can write various kind of notebooks, like you have started doing the experimentation. The person, the interviewer, can go and see, okay, they are the few notebooks where the person has tried. And then comes the pipe, leave this pipe project terminal. Okay, references. Suppose if you want to show some references or some reports also, if you have created some beautiful graphs and you want to present that graphs or store it there, you can put it under there. And the requirement.txt, like different dependencies, suppose pandas, numpy, uh, TensorFlow, whatever, you can put it there. And then comes your main source code, that init.py you will do to make it in the package format, so that you can call all this config dataset features outside this repos, outside this code also. Like here, I can call in the notebook, I can call. So I will focus. Try to write your code properly in this structure. This will definitely give you an edge. And if you are submitting, once you get the interview and once you get the case study, if you are submitting in this format, this will definitely impress the interviewer, and it will give you an edge. Because why I am telling you all these small points, so that you can learn from the real experience, your industry experience, what is actually going on, how to play with the mind of the interviewer. Because as an interviewer, I am also looking for the good candidates. It's not anyone I can hire. They will say, what are these things? Because these are the few things which best practices which we apply into the real time. So if somebody knows this kind of small things, definitely there's a huge chances that he will be able to crack the interview, as compared to someone who is good in knowledge but he do not know all these practical aspects, because these are the things I cannot teach him. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so these are the two bonus slides which I have added. And suppose if you want to understand how you can do the model deployment on the GCP in a very basic way. So I means and this is I have taken this from a Medium blog, which is a very good blog, and you all can go through this after presentation, this Medium blog, and just try to uh, follow this whole blog, so that you can understand how the things are getting deployed and end to end, so that you will be able to know. So at least you have to start your journey. So start with doing your hands dirty in the real way. It's not just watching some YouTube videos or take no. Just do your hands dirty. Understand the things. So it will help you in getting ready for the industry. Just go through this way. This is very properly this guy have written and the start you can do. See, dashboards he has created, and he has created this kind of pipeline also, how the pipeline will look into the real time. Just go through this. As of now, I will just give you the brief that what is this, what are the various things. Like suppose these are the various services of the Google Cloud platform. If I look into this, and one more thing, as of now, if you want to learn GCP, you can create the free account onto that, and it will give you the $300 to do the practice. So just create your account, run and try to do the hands-on practice on that one. Because without practice, I'll say you won't be able to learn whatever the blog, videos, or session you will take. You just do the hands-on. So here you can see that there are the few services which are present. First one you can see as the cloud storage. The storage you can consider it as the service where you can store your files. And then comes the BigQuery. BigQuery you can consider as the SQL database or the tabular database. Let me talk in more simpler way. Tabular database where you can push the tabular format like the CSV format, and you can run the SQL query. This is very fast. And Vertex AI is the platform where basically you can run your code end to end. Like you will have the Jupyter notebook, you will have the registry, you will have the AutoML, multiple things you will get into the Vertex AI part of Vertex AI. Then the artifact registry is there. If you want to push your code into some source registry by Dockerizing, you can come there. And Cloud Scheduler is there. And with the help of Cloud Scheduler, suppose if you want to retrain your model every month, so instead of doing the things manually, you can take the advantage of this Cloud Scheduler. So these are the few services. If you will go through this blog, you will come to know. Then let's go to the model deployment on the AWS side of it. That there is the this is a very beautifully they have written, and I have taken this from this AWS blog only. So you can go through this blog also and learn how these experts are doing the deployment into the AWS. So you can see there's a cloud formation template. Just consider as a service which will automatically create the infrastructure. You do not have to go and create with a Jupyter notebook or create maybe some buckets where you will store the file or some storage. Automatically, it will create the service catalog, and this you can consider after doing the deployment. Some SageMaker project will come where SageMaker actually the AI service of the AWS where you can train the model, you can train the model, you can do the hyper tuning of the model, you can create the model endpoint, you can do the model scaling, multiple things you can do here. So yeah, properly they have written the step by step. As instead of me explaining the things, if you will go through this blog, it will help you in better grasping the way. And I hope this will help you. Okay, I am done from my side. Thanks a lot to all.
Thank you, Sanket, for the very insightful session. It was great to learn about all the tools in DataOps and MLOps. Dear learners, it's time to move to the polls. Remember, everyone who answers all questions correctly will receive a certificate that you can proudly share on various platforms. You are now requested to answer the polls on your screens and respond based on your comprehension of the session. Please note that to answer each question, you only have 1 minute. Okay. Sanket, since we have a lot of questions, I think we can get started. So, the question is, how do we choose different types of models in what you explained as to what works best? Do we use all models for a project for best results?
See, I'll say as a data scientist, it is our responsibility, first of all, to understand the client requirement. What is they are asking? What is the business perspective? And before directly jumping onto the model, we have to make sure that how much time they are giving you to build this model. Second thing, what is the latency they are expecting from the model? Because there are few models which are giving the good accuracy, but the latency is very large. It's, sorry, but the latency is very high. What are the accuracy they are expecting? And what is the criticality of the final requirement? So based on these few things, you can select the model. But as of now, I'll say you have to do the experiment with multiple models. But yeah, based on the few of the things which I have told, you can filter out some of the model. For instance, instead of directly jumping to the 10 models, okay, this model, suppose the SVM will have the high latency. And other one is that I can use the traditional machine learning model. I do not want to jump onto the convolution neural network side because that is not the image part of it. So in this way, you can churn out the models, and whatever the 4 to 5 models you will get, you will have to select them and do the experiment. And based on the model metrics which you are getting, you can select the final model.
Great. The next question is, Sir, I have learned SQL, Excel, Power BI, Python, NumPy, Pandas, etc. And I'm currently learning TensorFlow, PyTorch, and GitHub. What other tools do you think I need to learn to be a good data scientist?
Well, to be the data scientist, first of all, you have to be updated with the current trends. As of now, I'll say only the data scientist cannot do anything because hardly there are few jobs. You have to become the AI engineer. So just focus on upgrading yourself on the AI engineer. You have to upgrade yourself with the tools. And as of now, most of the companies are asking for the generative AI part of it. So since you are learning the traditional machine learning models you are aware of, you are fine with the Python coding, and you are also learning the GitHub. So try to upgrade yourself by taking a deep dive into the generative AI side of it so that you can become an end-to-end package if a company wants.
Great. The next question is, in your experience, how has the shift from model centric to data centric AI changed the way we design and manage data ops pipelines?
See, this is a really good question. So I'll say there was no such model side of it. Like if you will look from the start, from the scratch, when we used to work on the Excel, there also we used to build the model. But at that time also there was the data. We used to look into the three V's. I think the velocity was there, variety was there, and other V I just forgot. The three V's. So since starting only, it was all about data. But in the starting, the data was into the megabytes, then it moved to the gigabytes, then the petabytes, and now the petabytes. So data is increasing day by day. So we have to upgrade our model also, or not our model. I will say that we have to optimize the whole pipeline because, as I have told you in the starting, model is a very small part of it. So if you want to upgrade the whole system, then you have to look into where the optimization you can do so that this big data which is coming, you can cater and give the optimized result within the limited time. So I believe this is what I have learned in this recent year. It's always the data focused, and secondly, it comes the model focused.
Okay, on to the next question. Can I use AI in building for coding on making ML models, and is it beneficial?
Yeah, you can use the AI. See, as of now, people are taking advantage of AI. But few things I found when I am taking the interview, people are saying we are just doing the vibe coding. Vibe coding means I'm just writing my requirement and it is giving me the response, and that's it. So this should not be the case. We should be aware of the coding fundamentals, either Python, C++, Java, .NET, whatever your language are. You should be aware of the basics, that what are the oops concept of that particular. So if I'm talking about Python, oops concept or Python and that thing. But to speed up the things, you can take the help of the code generation part of the AI. It will help you in generating the code. But for the optimization part, always take a look into that code. For instance, I can tell you a few days back, I was trying to build the agent with the help of AutoGen. AutoGen is the Microsoft framework which has recently launched. I mean, 6 months back only it has launched. But when I'm trying with all the LLM framework like the ChatGPT, Perplexity AI, Claude, nobody was giving me the correct result. So I have to move to their doc part. I have to learn the things in a hard way, and I have to write by my own. So if I'm since I am aware of the Python coding, I know how the thing can be done. So I can optimize it and speed up with the help of the LLM. So, so I'll say don't completely rely on AI to generate the code. Please learn the coding. This is our bread and butter.
Okay, the next question is, sir, since you told we have to get our hands dirty, can you suggest some sites to practice?
Yeah, definitely. There are multiple sites. First of all, you should try going through, like, instead of just going onto the sites, you can go through the blogs. There are very good blogs available. Apart from that, there are the very good documentation present from the GCP, AWS, Azure. You can just try and learn by the documentation, because these are the main source where they are writing each and everything. And apart from this, there are very good videos available. So you can learn and try running. If you do not have the GPU, try running on the Colab, try running on the Kaggle. There are multiple competitions available on the Kaggle. Try learning from there. There are solutions also available. So if you're not able to do by your own, just learn from the solutions. So just follow this cycle.
Great. The next question is, I'm currently working as a analyst and I'm looking to transition to a data scientist role. What steps should I take to make this shift effectively? And are there any specific certifications or skills that would help me stand out in this transition?
Sure. Like, first of all, like I have already told in my presentation, try to learn, first of all, since you are the data analyst, you might be not completely familiar with the Python. So try to learn the core skills like a Python you can learn, and some TensorFlow or the PyTorch you can learn. And apart from that, you can also learn about the cloud platforms like the GCP, Azure, or these things. So these are the few things which you can learn and try transition into the data science. And apart from that, you should also learn that data science or the machine learning concepts.
Great. That's all the time we have for today. We hope most of your questions were answered. Learners, before you leave, please provide us with feedback on this webinar by completing a survey as you exit this session. A recording of this webinar will also be made available on the LMS if you wish to view it again. Thank you once again, Sanket, for this
Thanks a
invaluable
lot.
session. I'm sure our
Thank you.
participants have learned something new today that is informative and useful. And a big thank you to all our learners. It's been great to see this level of participation. Thank you and have a very good evening.
Thank you. Bye bye.